Hello friends, welcome to this video. This is Rohit. Friends, in today's video we are going to talk about event handling concept in Java programming language. So let's start. So in this video we are going to talk about, first of all, what event is, then types of events, then what different types of event classes available, the delegation event model, the different types of listeners, and all these things I am going to show you with practical demonstrations. Some sample practical programs I am going to show you regarding each event class and interface. So first of all, we will try to understand what is concept of event. So as we know, in Java programming language we can create interface using AWT and Swing package, and there are different types of components we can use to create the user interface. So whenever user try to interact with these GUI components, then basically event is getting generated. So what event is exactly? So event is changing the state of object. So all these GUI components are object of specific classes that are available in package. Like for example, button. So button is a object of button class in AWT package, or JButton. So JButton is a object of JButton class. So whenever we try to interact with this object, so if the component is active component, then it try to respond you, and its state is basically getting changed. So for example, whenever you click on button, its state is getting changed from unclick to click or unpress to press. So that is nothing but event. Another example, we have checkbox. So whenever you click on checkbox, its state is getting changed from uncheck to check or from off to on. So whenever its state is getting changed, event is occur. Okay, so event is changing the state of object. So whenever you try to interact with all such active components, so event is getting generated. So events are basically generated as a result of user interaction with all such GUI components. So button may be there, checkbox may be there, a radio button may be there, window may be there, list may be there. All these are active components which are able to generate events. So passive component like label is not able to generate event. If you try to interact with label, it will not generate any kind of event. Okay, so label comes under the passive category, where all other rest of components comes under the active category. So active components basically generate event whenever you try to interact with them. So for example, clicking on button, dragging your mouse, selecting radio button, clicking on checkbox, all these are example of event. Closing window, minimizing window, all these are examples of event because they are changing the state of object. Now all these event related classes are available under one package, and that package name is java.awt.event. So this package we have to import first of all, which contains all event related classes. So in your program, if you want to handle events, then first of all you need to import this package at the start of your program. So java.awt.event. So this package contains first of all different event classes and related interfaces. Okay, so in order to use event classes and event interfaces within our program, we have to import this package. Okay, so name of package you need to remember is java.awt.event. Now let's try to understand what are types of events. So broadly these events are categorized in two types. First one is foreground events and second one is background event. Now what is foreground event? So these are the events which requires the direct interaction of user. So these events are getting generated whenever user will directly interact with GUI component. Okay, so for example, click on button, move your mouse, entering character through the keyboard, selecting item from list, minimizing window, closing window, scrolling the pen. All these are example of foreground events. So foreground events are generated whenever user try to directly interact with our GUI components. Okay, and second category we have background events. So these are the events that do not require direct interaction of user. Okay, so such events include operating system interrupts, hardware or software failure, timing getting expired. Okay, all such events comes under the background event. Why? Because they are not generated by direct interaction of user. Okay, so these are the two categories we have for events. Now try to understand what event handling is exactly. So event handling is a mechanism, is a procedure that controls the event. What should get happen whenever event will occur, that will get controlled, that will get decided in event handling process. Okay, so whenever any specific event occur, what should get happen, that will be decided at event handling procedure. So this is mechanism where we try to write actual code that will get execute whenever event will occur, event will get fired, and the code which is going to execute whenever event will occur, it's called event handler. Event handler. So if I want to display certain message whenever user will click on button, so whatever code I am writing for displaying message, that is nothing but our event handler, and it is going to execute whenever user will click on our button. Now here in Java programming language, we have a special model for handling event, and that model name is delegation event model. So all events are processed and handled in Java programming language according to delegation event model. So this model defines standard mechanism for generating and for handling event. Now this model is based on three important concepts. First of all, obviously event itself, second one is source, and third one is listener. So this model works according to these three concepts, and we need to understand all these three concepts in order to understand the delegation event model. So let's try to understand what this delegation event model is. So this delegation event model is based on three concepts, as I told you. Okay, first concept is event. Obviously what event is, now we know, changing the state of object, that is nothing but event. Okay, and next two important concepts we have in delegation event model, that is source and listener. Now what is source? So source is an object on which event occurs, or source is an object which actually responsible for generating event. Okay, so for example, your button will be source of event, because whenever user will click on a button, event is going to generate, or whenever user will click on checkbox, event is going to generate. So source is an object which is actually generating event. So source is responsible for providing information of occurred event to its handler. Okay, so all your active components will be example of source, because they are going to generate certain event whenever user will interact with them. Okay, so source is actually responsible for generating event whenever user will interact with them, and whenever event will get generated, so information regarding that event should be pass should be given to its handler, and that is what the role of source. Okay, and second important concepts we have in a delegation event model, that is listener. Now what is listener actually? So listener is also known as event handler, and we know what event handler. So event handler is a code which is going to execute whenever that event will occur. Okay, that logic we will write in event handler whenever that event will occur, and it will get executed and our task will get done. So listener is actually responsible for generating response to the event. So whenever event will occur, source will try to notify listener that event has been occurred. Then listener will try to execute the code which will perform certain task, and then it will notify, it will return to the source again. So listener is actually responsible for generating response to the event. And how it is going to respond to the source? So it will execute certain block of code, and that is what our event handler. So it will invoke certain method which will execute a certain line of statements. Okay, so that is what the role of listener here. So from Java implementation point of view, the listener is also object. So here your source is also object and your listener is also object. So one important thing we have to understand here, that listener will get notified regarding event has been occurred only when it is registered with specific source. So source must be registered with listener in order to send its notification, in order to send the notification regarding event. If listener is not registered with source, then listener will not get any kind of notification from source. So source must be registered with listener. This is the most important thing in this delegation event model. Okay, your source must be registered with listener, then and then only listener will get notification regarding event has occurred. Okay, so listener is going to wait until it receives event. It is going to keep listening when event will occur. Once event is received, once the notification regarding event is received, the listener will process the event. Okay, how it is going to process event? So it is going to execute certain method. Okay, and in specific method we will write our logic, what we have to do whenever event will occur. This is all about the delegation event model. Three important concepts we have: event, source and listener. Event is changing the state of object, source is the object which is going to generate event, there will be all active components. Okay, and listener is going to get notification whenever event will occur, and listener is going to give response to the event. How? By executing specific method. Okay, this is your delegation event model, and all your event handling procedure will be done according to this model in Java programming language. Now what are advantages of this delegation event model? Okay, so first of all, the benefit of this approach is that user interface logic, that is GUI related logic, is completely separated from the logic which is going to generate and handle event. Okay, this is what the important benefit you have with this delegation event model. So the user interface element will be able to delegate the processing of event to separate piece of code. That's why it is called delegation event model. So every GUI component will be able to delegate the processing of event to the separate piece of code. That is how we will have separate code for GUI and separate code for event handling. In this model, the listener needs to be registered with the source object. This is the most important point you need to understand. If you don't do this, this model will not work. So listener must be registered with the source object. Then and then only listener will get notification about event occurred. If listener is not registered with source, then obviously whenever source will generate event, listener will not get any kind of notification. It will not get any kind of information that event has been occurred. So listener can receive event notification. Okay, so you must try to register your source with listener, then and then only listener will get notification. Okay, so in this event delegation model, you try to register your source with listener, so listener will get notification regarding event occurred. Okay, so this is the efficient way of handling the event. Why it is efficient way? Because the event notification are sent to only those listeners that want to receive them. Okay, the notification is not being sent to all listeners that are available. These are sent to only listeners which want to receive them, which want to process that event. Okay, that is why this model is efficient. So what advantage you are getting with this delegation event model? First of all, your GUI related code and your event generating related code and event handling related code is separated. Then your GUI component, any GUI component will be able to send the details of event to specific listener. Okay, so this is how the GUI component is trying to delegate the processing of event, and the notification is not going to send to all listeners. It will be sent to only them who are registered with source and who are interested in processing the event. Okay, these are few advantages that you will get with this delegation event model. Now try to understand what steps are involved within the event handling, how actually event will get handled, event will get processed. Now step number 1, try to understand, we are assuming button over here. So whenever user will click on button, what happen? Its state will get changed and event will get generated. That is nothing but event. Okay, so whenever user will click on button, its state will get changed and that is nothing but event. So event will occur. Okay, in step number 1. Now in step number 2, what will happen? The object of related event class will generate. Now regarding each GUI component, we have certain event classes and interfaces. So as soon as the state of object will get changed, the object of specific event class will get created. So for example, in case of button, the name of event class is action event. So the object of action event class will get created automatically, and the information about the event source and event stored will get available within the object. So as soon as the event will occur, the object of event class will get created and it will contain all the details regarding event. Okay, this will be step number 2. So this will be common for all components. Let's say you click on checkbox. Okay, so the object of atom class will get created and it will contain details of the event which has been occurred. Okay, so this object will be forwarded to the registered listener class in step number 3. Once object will get created, this event object will be forwarded to the method of listener class, in which we are going to write logic. Okay, this is step number 3. And step number 4, here actually our method will get execute. And what we will write within method, we will write the logic, what we want to do when event will occur. So that logic we are going to write within that method. So in step number 4, that method is going to execute actually. And within this method, we will have the object of event class as an parameter. So we will be able to fetch all the details of event within our method. Okay, and there will be different methods. There will be different methods for these event classes. These event classes contains different constants, different methods, and all these methods and constants we will be able to use within our method in order to write our logic. So through the object of this event class, we will be able to use methods and constants, okay, that are defined within these event classes in order to write logic. These are the 4 generalized steps that are involved in event handling. So event occurred, the object of event class is getting generated, that object contain all details of event, then that object is forwarded to the method, okay, and finally in method we write logic and that method is getting executed. These are the general steps, okay, in event handling in Java programming language. Now how events are handled, in few statements we will try to describe here. Okay, so source basically generates events first of all, and it sends with the source to one or more listeners, okay, which are registered. Then once the listener receives event notification, then the event will be processed by the listener and it will return. Okay, these are the few statements that are describing how events are going to be handled.